entitled "Woman Needs Ham Sliced Immediately." I work in a grocery store and lately have been in the deli but not yet trained on the giant slicer. As it scares me. It's not the traditional go to the counter and order type. We slice and package everything and put it out for customers. Right now we have one of the sliced hams on sale and this customer came back and asked if we had any more. The deli manager told her it would be a minute as both her and the other deli employees who can slice were busy. This woman proceeded to cross her arms and stare at me, rolling her eyes and motioning towards the slicer. So I approach her and let her know that the other two were busy with hot food that needed to get put out immediately and I wasn't trained on the slicer. She asked for a former employee and we told her she was no longer there. She then proceeded to throw her hands up and go, "Is there a manager I can talk to?" Someone from another department had stopped in to grab something and asked what was going on and we told them. She then sliced the woman's ham, priced it and handed it to her. "No thank you" was received, just "I know so and so I shouldn't have to wait." Like, ma'am, that's not how grocery stores work. This interaction really irritated me for the rest of my shift. I know the woman from church and I know her name, but now and forevermore she will be known as Karen. ETA my mom is the minister. My parents have even divorced since 1990 and my dad is a lounge singer gig musician in the next state in the city. Edit 2 I told my mom about what happened and she defended the lady saying she's got a lot going on. And I should be more compassionate. Edit 3 I offered to take over making the hot food and was told that I needed to keep working on my cold case items as we only have so long they cannot be in the walk-in or cold case. I have only been there 4 days so haven't been trained on a slicer or fryer yet. There are people hired full-time at a higher wage specifically for being a fryer slicer. At some point I will be able to get trained on those, but for now I am just working on cold salads. Think egg salad and pasta salads. I know the woman from church and I know her name. This just baffles me. Like, does she not recognize you? Is she not embarrassed to be acting this way in general and towards someone who clearly knows them? Question mark. Op. Next time you see her at church, tell her that you have a scripture for her. Then give her Ephesians 4:2. Another churcher going against everything they're supposed to learn by going to church. I owned a bait shop and a customer came in and said I can get this cheaper at Walmart and I said, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Needless to say I decided to close my operations soon after lol. There will be a lot more people that come in like this. Try not to let it bother you too much. Some customers always think that every employee can do everything when that's not true. Many times when they have to wait, they try to get anyone they can see that's employee to do it for them instead. Everything has to be dropped for them. The next time you see her at church, let her know you've been praying that her ham was sliced to her liking. I like the ones that demand 1.0001 pounds of something. Take a piece off. Too low. Add a piece. Over. They'd get pissed when I tore a piece to get their weight. I work in a deli and almost 98% of the customers suck one way or the other. The only saving grace is that the lunch meat I sell them is shortening their lives. I currently work at a deli counter in a grocery store. Oh my freaking god, the amount of nasty snarky entitled assholes is unnatural, and usually the first one is the one that puts you in foul humor for the rest of the shift. But the other employee rewarded her by cutting the ham. I'm a grocery store deli manager. This is absolutely typical for us. 2. Entitled people that can't wait 2 seconds. Even if it's for the employee to wash their hands. You gotta let this shit roll off of you or you'll get really bitter really quickly. If your mom's the minister, should get her to remind people. during a sermon, how patience is a virtue and we shouldn't be asking people to do things they are not comfortable with, or aren't skilled at doing said job role. Why is the ETA included? It doesn't seem to be part of the preceding part. When you work in retail, you're going to interact with every personality type. And what ends up happening is you don't really notice the 99 customers who interact normally. Hello. Please. Thank you. Goodbye. But you 100 notice the rude assholes. My advice: ignore that instinct to try and justify or argue. Even if it's just in your own head after the confrontation, you'll never get resolution. The customer isn't going to come back and admit they were in the wrong. So you're just using your mental energy for nothing. Just think of these customers as the ones who are pitiful. And think about something else. Maybe go to church and tell a story to the congregation of the Good Samaritan and the angry Karen. See how she reacts. You have to be able to slice and work efficiently. If you are going to work in the deli, you should accept the fact that you need to slice if you work there, or else you are just making your co-workers work harder to compensate for you not wanting to do a good job. If you can't slice, then why not work with the hot food? Be more useful. Why wouldn't you take over another person's task so they can slice the ham? I get that you aren't trained for the slicer. But why wouldn't you say, "Hey coworker, I'll finish that task if you can please slice the lady's ham." Did she handle it correctly? No. But neither did you. And you're the one in customer service. Slicing and packaging on request is the traditional deli, FYI. Why? That's just unfair on women with the name Karen. Makes you as bad as her. You shouldn't be working in the deli if you are too scared to operate the equipment. Well, if you're in customer service, you're going to have to grow a thick skin because this happens a lot. More than you think. So you're too scared to slice ham and think she is the one with a problem? Honestly, most deli customers are dicks. My local store has trouble keeping their counter staffed. I wonder why. Making a production over some sliced ham, oh please. I have used a standard meat slicer and they are not hard to use, but cleaning them is different. These stupid entitled customers need to step behind the counter and use the slicer and see how it can be hard, and have them put on the gloves and clean it also. That might give them an idea of what it is like working behind the counter. I can't imagine being such a CNT over things like this. Next time you see her, find a way to say, "Bless your heart." This jogged my memory. I remember a lot of adults losing their shit at the deli when I was a kid. Always seemed like such a contentious area of the grocery store, lol. Hugs. Not everyone is going to have skills of a butcher at a deli when they're new to the job, and some waiting isn't going to hurt you when you'll get good quality at the end. I mean, I don't mind waiting as long I'm not waiting too long for someone to come when the service is going to be the same. Oh, my petty ass would absolutely be outing her for her Karen behavior at church, LMAO. The next time you see her at church, say, "Hello, Karen," with the emphasis on the Karen. Repeat every time you see her and act bewildered if she corrects you. Tell your mom and have her somehow mention it in a sermon, something that will make the lady feel bad. I misread that as him sliced and got quite concerned about the random dude about to get a knifing. Please tell me the person from the other department who sliced Karen's ham entered the regular price, had their thumb on the scale, or both. Having worked on a hot food deli counter, I know this kind of thing is a regular occurrence. In the future, move as slow as possible. Have her repeat herself a few times, BC you can't hear well. And smile big when you hand it to her. It will drive her crazy. C. I wouldn't be able to do that line of work. I used to be in good service and often got in trouble or fired for people that acted like complete dicks. It's hard to not have your first reaction be how you truly feel. We all do it all the time, but I definitely struggle. Loudly crying, I'd have said some passive-aggressive shit. Like, "Oh, are you in a big hurry for something? You sure seem to be in a big rush. Is everything okay?" Just to press her buttons. Loudly crying. Ah, a fellow RBF, I've been told the same. Loudly crying, could you try to look more pleasant and happy? Loudly crying number. That exact scenario happened to me on my third day in Delhi. The woman yelled at me and said, "It's not hard, it will only take a second, yeah sorry, but operating a giant spinning blade designed to cut meat and flesh with zero training is a nope from me, dog."